Hey guys, what is happening? Have not done a video in a while, but I thought this would be a perfect day to do one. I hope everybody is doing great. Can you believe that we are almost in December? It blows my mind to think about that. But that is the reason that I am bringing this video to you today. So, in years past, I've done what they call a December daily journal. And in some years I skip, but this year I'm really excited to do a December daily journal again. If you don't know what a December daily is, it's basically a journal where you can write what you've done that day. You can journal. I am going to use mine this year as a journal in place / Advent scripture writing area. But you can make it be whatever you want it to be. I don't know why I don't get into doing like that much journaling until it's Christmas time. I don't know. I guess it's all the time with family and stuff like that. The things that we do as a family that I want to journal about. But I don't know why. It's weird. Anyway, so I wanted to kind of take a second to show you my journal. I know it's kind of last second with tomorrow being the first day of Advent, November 30th, but I thought, hey, you might get a wild hair and work on this today or tomorrow, or even if you decide you wanted to do one and it wasn't ready until the first week of December, you could work on the first couple of pages and kind of journal as you go and then decorate as you go. But that is enough about that. All right, so a little bit about the supplies that you'll need if you want to do this. You'll need, of course, glue, tape, a notebook. I'll show you all that stuff, paper. But let me show you mine and maybe give you some inspiration, and then I'll kind of show you the stuff that I use to make mine. And we're going to do a couple of making of the journal cards in here that I've done just to give you a little bit of an idea. So this was just a plain old cheap notebook. I think these came from the Dollar General. I sent my son after them, so just a really cheap notebook. The paper pack that I used for this was from Michaels, and it was on sale. I was just at my local Michaels, and they do not have any more of this. So if you've got Christmas paper you've already got, or maybe there's another pad somewhere that you could look for. I didn't even look at Hobby Lobby paper because I seen this one online. I think it's the Crafty Homebody that inspired me to do this, so I will link her video down below and you can see hers, but this is kind of my take on it. So for the most part, this is the paper that I used. There is, however, some papers from this pack, the Peppermint Plaid pack. Both of these were from Michaels this year. Again, use whatever paper you've got, whatever you want to use. You don't have to use this paper, but that is where I got that. Okay, so let's do a little flip through really quick. I love for my journals to be interactive with lots of places to tuck stuff and hide stuff. So over here, we've got, I'm just going to stand and make sure you can see. So in this pocket, we've got just some journaling cards and note cards. And just because I love to add ribbon and lace to places, I've added it here. Let me zoom in a little bit, make sure you can see everything good. Whoop. Okay, let me adjust this glare a little bit too. Hold up, we'll get this figured out in a second. I think that's a little bit better. Yeah, there we go. Okay, then on this pocket, there's these journal cards. And then as we go through here, so I love, one of the ways that I relax is to cut up newspapers. I don't know if that's so glossy, it's glary. But I love to cut up, not newspapers, magazines. And so I will sit down in front of the TV when we're watching movies because I can't sit still without falling asleep. And I cut up images that I think are cute, and then I decide later where I want to use them. So this was a magazine image, and this was a magazine image. I think majority of these come out of the Olive. Hold on, there's Olive and Cocoa. Yeah, Olive and Cocoa. It was they mail it out each year at Christmas, and you get on the subscription list and they send it to me, and their images are beautiful, so I cut them up and this is how I use them. But that pocket, and then this little tuck place here, this was there was a cookie tin, and this was some of the cookies, and I just made a tag with it. And this is out of that paper pack, there's journaling cards, so that's what these are. This was just a scrap piece of paper that was left over whenever I made a pocket somewhere, and I just adhered this down and put the twine on it. And then this was another image out of that same magazine, and I just cut it, put it on a piece of paper so this can be journaled on, and then just put it there. And then here's another spot. That glare is killing me here. That's a little better. So this was a piece of that paper in the pack, and then I just put the Santa. And the dead giveaway, if it's a magazine, can you see the number? Because it tells what it is. But that, and then this was a journal card out of that paper pack. And this was just this was a full page of a wreath. And I adhered it to an index card, and it had the words "Make It Merry" somewhere in the magazine, and I tore it out and just glued it on here. So now I can just journal about the day or whatever, or I can put it on a page or whatever I want to do with it. And then this was the front of a magazine. It was a cake, and I just literally thought, oh, that looks cool. I put glue on an index card, stuck it down, and then I cut out around it. So this is also a place that I can journal. And then this was another image out of that, I think, the same magazine. It may be a different one. But again, I just cut the magazine image out, and then I put it down on a piece of paper, and then it's just plain. So it can be used to make another pocket, like glue around the edges and make a pocket, or I can put photos on the back of this or whatever. So I just like stuff like that. I think it's cute. I like it being interactive. All right, so this is a double pocket page. So the whole... Let's see, this is the thing about using a notebook, but it's fine. I put this thing is a whole piece of paper underneath here. And then I put this so that this is a pocket here. Pocket. And then this is a magazine image that I just really like. So I thought, well, we'll make a double pocket because you've got that one there. And then there's this pocket here. Put that in there. And then this is just a random piece of paper. I just stick them in there to show that it's interactive, and then I can journal on the back of it and put a picture on it or whatever I want to do. More blank pages. I'll finish this and I'll explain that in a minute. So this was 2 images. This is what they call a belly band. And so it's just a place to tuck. It's glued at the top and the bottom. This was just a scrap piece of paper. This was one of those tags out of that paper pack. And this was another magazine image. I glued it to a piece of paper, and it's blank so that I can use it however. But just stick them in here. That. And the little baker's twine hangs out. And on this side, it's just, again, a pocket here, just a plain piece of paper. And these are just scrap pieces of paper from me cutting up and doing things in the book. I always try to use the bigger pieces for that. These are tags. They're supposed to be cut apart and be 3 tags. I stuck them in here just as a whole, so I can either use it as a whole or cut them apart later. And then Warm and Cozy. I could punch this and make a tag with it, but I wanted to leave it whole in case I wanted it to be like a title of a page. And then this is just a whole page because I just like the whole page. And I thought if I've got a big photo, I could put it here. Or if I've got receipts or something, I could just pin it. And this is just one of those cards from the paper pack. And I just slid it on. All right. This was a whole piece of paper behind here. And then I put this piece of paper. And this is a strip off of one of the papers. Just to kind of give that a clean edge. And then inside, or this is just an actual magazine page. I don't know what I'm going to do with it yet. I mean, I'll do anything with it. Let me see if this is going to be good for that. I know what I'm going to do with that. Maybe. I'll show you in a minute. But so that can either be used as a whole page, or I can make it be a journaling card. And this was a magazine image, and these are just scrap pieces of paper. And I glued them down and attached the magazine image, and it's just on an index card so that I can journal. And this was a scrap from this image, I think. Was it this image? It was a scrap off of one of these images somewhere. We got to it yet? I don't know. It's a scrap off of one of these pictures in here. Oh, it's a scrap off of this image, and we ain't got to that yet, so I'll show you in a minute. But I just took the scrap part and then glued it down on there and put that on there. So there you go, more paper. And this is just, I had 2 small pieces of paper and they met right here, and I thought that looked bad. So I just took a piece of this scrap from the paper and put it there to make it act like a belly band. And this is off of that paper pack. This was just a magazine image. I glued it on a piece of the scrap paper, and this was just a little scrap piece left over. Oh, I need to glue that down better to make that card. And then this is literally just the magazine image. I've not done anything together with it. I've not done anything with it yet. I just tuck it in here. And everything that I put in here, I may not keep in this journal. I just like to have stuff in here for inspiration and make it look cute. And this was just some ribbon that I made that with. Like another magazine image, I made it a pocket. And so this is just scrap paper. This is a piece of scrap paper. This is just a journaling thing out of that paper pack. Another magazine image, I just adhered it to some paper, and so I can use that somehow, some way in there. All right, so this page was really fun. So I love this metallic paper, and so I have a hard time gluing anything on it, but this was a magazine image, and I just glued it to the paper, and then just put this on here like that to hold it. So I don't know what I'll do with it. Then there's all kinds of goodies back here. So just a scrap piece of paper. And these were giant cookies in a page, or on a page, and I cut them out because I thought, you know what, that would be cute if we made cookies and I could journal about it or whatever. And then this was a magazine image, and I just put 2 pieces of paper together and put that on there. And 2 tags out of the paper pack. I can use that. And again, these little tuck spots are good for if we get receipts, or if we take big pictures, or we get a map like we go skiing or something, whatever. And then the back page just has some extra scrappy pieces. These are literally just scrap pieces of paper. And so what I thought I would do is show you, I want to get some of my pages prepared, because I do absolutely love to journal during the month of December. December is my favorite month to journal. But if I get rushed and I skip a day, I'm like a perfectionist, and I don't want to skip a day, and so I'll quit writing in it. So if I just get my pages done ahead of time, that is helpful. So I thought we would kind of go through and put a little bit of decoration on this. I was going to show you what I did. So this year, December has, if you look at the calendar, it looks like there's 5 weeks of December. Advent starts on November 30th, and then, of course, December goes through the end of the year, but Advent ends right at Christmas. So I have divided this notebook intentionally. So this is for week 1. This is week 2. This is week 3. This is week 4. This is week 5. And then this is just extra space if I need more room to journal, like I fill up a page or whatever. In between here, I have got 14 pages between each section. And the reason that I did that is these pages are so flimsy. If you're going to make a pocket like this, for it to be hard, you need to glue 2 pieces together. And it can also bleed through. So I have the ability to glue these down to each other to make them really thick, if I want to do that. But I'm thinking I want for it to be like this side I can journal about the day, and this side do my Advent writing for the day. I don't know how it's going to go, but we're going to see. That's the thoughts, is to just glue them together and make them thicker, so it don't bleed through, and so I can decorate it any way I want to. And it doesn't hurt the integrity of the book at all. So as you can see, it did make it a little chunky because I've added stuff in here. But this is a really good weight. The only thing that I could do to make this better is this wants to flap up. You can kind of tell if you wanted to put Mod Podge on it or something. I did just do a plain back cover for the pages. But yeah, so that's that. So what we're going to do today is I'm going to show you some of the magazine images. I'm going to show you how to make some journal cards, because I figure all you have to do if you want to do these pages like this is measure the width of your page, and then, you know, of course, the length. And you can just cut these strips and glue them down however you want to. This is a piece of ribbon on the edge of this page just to make it look more pulled together. This right here is just a strip of one of the papers to make it look like it's some washi tape. I didn't even put nothing there. This one doesn't even, see, this one doesn't have anything on the edge of it. These two didn't have anything on the edge of it. But see, like this one did. So you just play with it. This book, I've literally spent, I think, 3 afternoons of watching Christmas movies with the family. So I know there's at least 3 movies in here, but there's probably 4 or 5 just getting this part ready. And then you can add stuff in. So I did go to Michael's yesterday during their Black Friday sale, and all of their Christmas ephemera was 50% off. So I grabbed this pack, and I'm going to use some of those in here. And then they had a crazy sale on their ribbon. And I got, it was buy 1, get 3 free. So I bought 1 pack for $15 and I got 3 more free. And then I had a $5 rewards. So I got all of this stuff when I walked out of the store, and it was 14 bucks. So I didn't spend a bunch of money on it. The paper packs were 50% off. I think I paid $10 for each paper pack. So there's not a lot of money in this, and there is a ton of use out of these for many years. As far as magazines, if you want to go buy full price magazines, you can. I love cutting apart magazines. I absolutely love it. My inner child loves to cut apart magazines. And so I will be at the thrift store or go to a Goodwill or whatever, and I look for them. Or I ask people like my mom to hold on to it for me. And that ain't got nothing on it, but I just take them and cut them up. And then when I'm done, like the pages, there's nothing on it that I want to use. They make a perfect place for you to be able to do your glue stick and then stick the page together and then just throw that away. So I don't waste any part of it. Yeah. Excuse me. All right. So let's have some fun together. So I'm going to count my pages here and get this ready for the first week. And again, I'm starting this on November 30th because that's the first day of Advent. So I glue them 1 page, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Okay, so I'm just going to glue 1 page for the sake of not boring you to absolute death and let you see what I'm talking about and how I do it, and you can go from there. One tip that I do have for you is if you're going to use papers in here, you see how this does not go all the way to the edge, and you want to leave it that way so that it can close. If it bothers you, you could use some Christmas washi to cover that up. I don't care. It doesn't bother me. But what I do is I take the pages that I'm going to glue together. So like in this instance, I would be writing this way. If I was at the back of the book, I would open the book this way and apply my glue to this page and put this over on it so that when the book is shut, it doesn't make the pages lay funny. But so this is what I literally do. Just put some glue. And the thing about the glue stick is it is the best way to put the pages together so that it doesn't make them all creasy. It will for a hot second be creasy looking, but it will completely dry and you will not be able to tell that there is any glue there. And then I just check my edges to see if I need to, like right here, I need to put some on the corner so that the corner adheres. And then on this one, nope, there's nothing there. So this is now a double page. This is, so see how much thicker? It's much better. This is just flimsy. This is much better. So we're going to go ahead and decorate. I don't know. I may put a little message here, or I don't know, like my prayers or intentions for going into the Advent season. That's what I may do, because then I've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. No, I can't do it that way. Well, I can. And just on that 7th day, I'll just have to do half scripture and half writing for that 7th day. Or I do have extra pages in the back, so I could just continue it back there. All right, I decided this is going to be like intentions. So I'm going to show you, because I'm going to use some of my magazine images. I'm going to show you what I do. So these are the pages that I've cut out of magazines. And let's see if there's one here. So this is one that I decided, okay, like this one. I just tear the whole page out. So I know that I like this Christmas tree. And somehow I want to use this Christmas tree. So I take the whole page out. God, now I like that page too. So I'll have to decide, do I want to use this page or do I want to use this page? And I can't make that decision right now, so we're going to find another one. Okay, this one's a good one. So, like, see, this is, it says an evergreen business. I will use the word evergreen because of Advent, and then I will use this image. So, what I do is I usually use a ruler. And the best way is the side that you know you want to keep, put that to your ruler, and then just tear it like that. And then I will use my scissors and trim this up. Just trim this up. Now, I may come back in and make this smaller, but for right now that works. And then I'm going to rip this off. And then that way I know I just need to trim this up. Like so. All right, evergreen. So I can use that word now in my Advent portion. So that's that. Then for this one, same thing. I'm going to use this image right quick so I can show you how I do it. I just lay it down, tear it. The image that I want to keep is under my ruler. The secret is just make sure that you hold that ruler in place really good. If you don't have a lot of money to craft, this is so much fun. I don't know what it is. I love to collage. I love to try to find new uses for old things. And if you've seen my craft room, you would think, why do I do that? Because I have so many craft supplies. I don't think I could ever use it in my lifetime, but there you go. All right, so this is where I also save like scrappy things like this. So my future daughter-in-law and I were crafting, and there was fabric from Walmart that was folded up. It was a fat quarter, and this was the piece of stuff out of that fabric. And so it's got some weight to it, and these are so flimsy that I use things like this to glue papers to give it weight. I like how that looks just like it is. And so I'm literally not going to do anything at all to this but glue the image down. That's it. There is things of this paper at Hobby Lobby that you can buy in a sheet, but why would I buy it if I can get a piece that I'm just going to throw away because it's in packaging? So there you go. I already used some of that glue stuff. So now that is literally a page I can take and put in my journal. Like so. And I think what I'm going to do This is going to be my intentions for my December journal. So I may use something a little bit more Christmassy. And see, I don't know what I do want to do with this yet. So here's where I'll just stick it in here, because I don't know where I'm going to use that yet. And then I've got this word I'm just going to tuck back here. Evergreen. I don't know where I want to use it yet. Alright, so let's focus on, this is going to be like my prayers, my hopes for this December. So let's go in and look and see if we can find something small. So I do keep bigger images in here, and then I keep just small little images in another Ziploc baggie. And most of the time, this is scraps. I'll show you. Because I just need a tiny little something, right? Because I want to be able to use all that space to journal in. My hair. Sorry, I'm shedding, apparently. Alright, so this was a nativity. It was in a magazine. And I'll fussy cut around this and use it. This is, I mean, look at that tiny little scrap, right? This was a tiny present on a page. Here's the word December. That's what I'm going to use there. So we'll save that. And this tiny little piece. Titles out of books. This is what I want to use on the front of that. So we'll use that. This I'll fussy cut out. Comfort and joy. This was, I got verses like this that was in, I don't know, I get charity magazines where you can buy things like, you can pay for a care of an orphan, and this one was like, if you give $9, it'll help feed children's feeding projects. I think this was a Samaritan's Purse. And so I just used the images out of it. All of these were images out of it. And so there's all kinds of verses that I cut out to use. Put that one maybe. Choose a word for the year, and this is where you just look. Like, here's something cute. I might use that. I like that one. I think that one's going to be the one for the front of the book. Okay, so you get the idea. I'm going to use this big strip. These are just tiny little pieces that I've cut off of something. So I'm going to use this long strip. I can't talk today, y'all. And then is this big enough to use for the word December? No. But this is. Alright, so I'm just going to grab some pieces like this and play with them. That's what I do. I play with them. And then I'm going to take an index card. That's what we're going to do. Let's do this. One index card. Move all this out of the way. Okay, so let's bring over our one page. So this is going to be our prayers for what we are hoping for December. What we're hoping that this Christmas season will bring us. So I'm going to loose lay out what I think I want it to look like. Make sure you guys can see. And you can't, so good thing I moved it up. Let's see if I did this up here. And this here. And this here. And again, that was a word from a magazine. See? I think I'm going to make that look like it's like hanging behind there. Maybe something like this. Where did that poinsettia go? This, and we'll fussy cut those out and glue those down at the bottom. I think that'll be good, and then I can write what I want to do here. Okay, that looks fabulous. All right, So our magazine page out, our glue stick out. I think this one's about out of glue. Come back in here so y'all can see. The lighting thing is always a problem. I'm just not going to let you see me glue stick. Y'all don't need to see me glue stick, do you? Put that here. And then I'm going to go ahead and glue down the word December. I figure y'all know how to glue stick. I'm not going to show you how to glue stick over here. And then we know we want for this to be here. Do I want that to be here? That to be here? I think I may do that. And that way December is... And see, I got it crooked, man. This is where you fake it till you make it. I could just leave it crooked, but it's going to drive me nuts. It's still wonky. It'll be all right. All right, so I'm gonna glue that down. I got glue on it. Don't tell nobody. Alright, so I'm going to fussy cut around this a little bit. I don't know if you can see me doing this, but hopefully you can. My grandmother used to, she didn't do journals like this, but she used to write everything down in a calendar. She had a very large calendar that hung on her wall. And she would write down things like, she had chickens, so she would write down how many eggs that she got that day, or she would write down if it snowed, or if there was a thunderstorm, or if her power went out, and what happened. And she would write down when the kids or the grandkids came to visit her. And it was so much fun just to sit and look at them old calendars. Sad because when she passed away with family dynamic junk, and I didn't even get an opportunity to try to get any of that stuff. But I loved looking back because it was like her life was documented in a way, you know? And it was just little stuff like that. But I'm like, if I enjoy looking at her old calendars, then, you know, my kids may appreciate if I kept a journal of things that they did when they were younger. And I think a lot of times I look at, I don't want a bunch of stuff except craft supplies. That's a whole nother rule. But I get rid of, I don't keep a lot of stuff in my house. And so when I start thinking about journaling and doing these notebooks and stuff like that, I'm like, where am I going to keep all of that stuff? But somebody had mentioned to me that they do notebooks like this, and then when it's all completed, when they get to where if they feel like, hey, I don't want to keep the physical book anymore, they'll take pictures of it and do like, just make a photo book of it. Because when you start adding all this stuff to the pages, it makes it kind of fat. And if you imagine, you did one of these for every year. Like, I'm 41. I would have 41 of these books. But in retrospect, I think it would be so neat to see what I was doing 10 years ago. Where was I? Who was I hanging out with? Who was I spending time with? You know, did we make cookies you know, I don't know, maybe I'm a weirdo. So I just fussy cut that out and stick that there. But my kids are getting older, and I'm definitely starting to think about, you know, they're going to be off on their own with their families. And I mean, obviously, I hope we still do things, and I think we will, but, you know, my time is going to be split with them. They're not just going to be mine now. They go to getting girlfriends and spouses, and, you know, their kids of their own, you know, life. And then I thought, man, keep stuff like this in my grandkids that I do with them. And since I get such joy out of doing it anyway, like, right, why not? Focus. I love it. I think it's going to be cute. Cute, cute, cute. And then I think what I may do, I don't know, I want to use that for an Advent page, I think. So this is just going to be, I guess, thoughts maybe for December, prayers going into December. I don't know. I'll figure it out. But like an intro page for December. And you see how cute that was? Stinking cute. And I used scraps of stuff and just a magazine that came in the mail that I was going to throw in the trash. I love it. And then when this stuff dries, I can come back in and like add some stuff. But I love it. I love it. So I was also, let's see what we could do on this page. So the first Advent Sunday. This is where I get confused because I can't remember if it's love, joy, hope, peace. I can't remember which one's first. I have to look it up. So I think what I may want to do, let's go ahead and glue this page down really quick. Make sure I'm see, I'm sticking them together. Just super quick. The best thing about using one of these notebooks is I cannot tell you how many notebooks that I bought to do stuff in, and then I get anxiety because I don't want to mess the notebook up. Go figure. It sits on the shelf. But with these notebooks like this that was literally $1 a piece, I don't get anxiety about it. It don't stress me out. Okay. So we can think about that page. Now, I do, when I'm going through magazines and cutting out images, like one of the things that we like to do is make gingerbread houses together. So this image I would save to use on the day that we do that. This, if you'll notice, this over here is not adhered down because there will be a day that we make Christmas cookies, and I will somehow incorporate that into the page. So, yes. So that was my intentions. Let's go ahead and get day one page done. Let's see if I can find a cute something that I want to use. I do have a plan, a writing plan for what I'm going to be writing. I got it offline. That washes that out. I call this auditioning papers behind here. Oh, that looks good. Let's just cut that out a little bit, just to make it more visible that it's Mary and Joseph. So there was an image behind here. I don't know if you can see it because I cut it out so small, but there was another image of other people, and this was just like an after thing in the corner that I cut out. So I'm just trimming that up so that the focus is not on what was partially in that image in the background. And I had another magazine, I think I've already thrown it away, that had a bunch of nativities in it. I may ask my mom. I think she may still have hers, but I'm trying to decide. I wish I had a word, like a word that could go here. Oh, that would be cute. Let's see. Yes, we have a piece of green, so we could do it. All right, let's do that. Because this says, I have come that they may have life and have it more abundantly. And what other reason did Jesus come but for that? Scrappy bits. So I just want the tiniest little green edge around this. So I'm going to glue this down on there. So here's where I get little pieces of scrap. See, this was a piece this size. I'm using this much of it. And I'm going to just cut this off. And yes, I will use that scrap. I use every single piece of scrap. So I think I'm going to do this like this. And let's see if I want to use that here. Yes, I think I will. And kind of make it look like it has a little bit of grass. Like that. Make it look like it was meant to be. All right, so I'm going to go ahead and secure that piece to this piece. I'm going to adhere this little piece to the bottom. I think I do want a little bit of the red peeping through though. Tiny little piece. And I am going to cut this one off flush. And then put that there. That would be cute. I wish there was a little piece of greenery somewhere. I'm trying to remember if this was a Christmas magazine. See if I can find. So these scrappy bits I keep. I cut every single possible image out of here. So there's nothing in that one. I think it'll be too much. Let's just do it simple. Like so. Now I got to decide at the bottom or at the top. I think I may do it at the top. But before I do that, let's see. just these little strips, to me, I like little pops of color. Alright, so this will be my Advent writing page. And I can't remember what my scripture is, or I would go ahead and write the reference up there. So, think of what I want to do over here. Since these are, I'm wanting for these to be journaling pages. Let me make sure you can see what I'm doing. Yeah, you can. I'm just trying to see. I think I'll just use these stockings. All right, so this says knit stockings starting at $9.99. I will just cover that up with a sticker, or I could just trim it off. I may just trim it off. And I do have a paper trimmer that I use for stuff like this so that I can cut it straight without messing the image up. Yeah, so that looks better. So let's see. I'll do it like this. I think I may do it like that because I don't know if you can tell that that has like a sweater look to it. And I might even I don't know, I'll just glue it. So we'll just glue that one down. Cute. And so see, I still just keep these two little scrap pieces and just throw them in that bag. And then see, now I've got just these scraps that I could use somehow, some way if I wanted to. All those little scrap bits. Oh my gosh, I made a mess. Clean this up. So now we've done that page together and that page together. So this will be, again, my thoughts, prayers for December. And then this will be my journaling page for December, or November 30th. And then this will be my November 30th Advent scripture writing page. And so, yeah. So if you enjoyed this, let me know by liking, commenting, and subscribing, all that good stuff. I am going to, if I get a response that you guys like this, I'm going to go ahead and come back and go ahead and complete the whole first week. That way we've got something to start with. This is a whole lot less intimidating to me than just having blank pages. And this seems easy because I'm like, okay, some of the decorating's done. I just got to come in and write. And most of the time, it's just the getting started that, gets me. So, I also want to show you in a video, an upcoming video, cute junk mail like this that comes in the mail. So, this was Bath & Body Works. I got my coupons out of it. I'll show you how to use these. And to make really good quality stuff to go in your junk journal. And this is stuff you would throw away. So, use it. Use it with the stuff that you've got. These make really good backings for magazine images. I'll also show you, I order from Amazon. And papers come. So this was in the packaging that come from an Amazon order. I keep it. And so what I'll do is I'll put a cute magazine image on the front of this and put this on the back of it. But I'll show you that in another video. I just want to show you, keep stuff like this. If you're saying that you can't craft because you don't have the finances or whatever, because I know in today's economy that a lot of us could be tight, keep the stuff like this. Find an old magazine somewhere. You know, sometimes you can get them in recycling places. Look in if you got a P.O. box, sometimes people set them in there. But you can get magazines for free anywhere, and they're just really cute, pretty images. So that's all I've got for you today. I hope that you've had fun with this. I hope maybe that it's inspired you. If this has inspired you and you're going to do your own journal, let me know in the comments below. And if you've got a channel, or you can tag me somehow so I can see it, that would be amazing. I will be back and we'll finish up these other pages together in another video. I will catch you next time.